Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Prepare to be offended, as we are now going to hear from Stan-Freberg in an episode of his program broadcast on September 15th, 1957. I think we're about halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway through the short run of this series, and we're going to get into hi-fi again.
This is the 10th show of the series of a brand new radio series. From Hollywood, we present the Stan-Freberg Show. With the music of Billy May. Plus the songs of Peggy Taylor with Dawes Butler, June Foray, Peter Lee to the Judd Conlon Rhythmaires. You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you on RADI. Oh. Good evening. Tonight, of course, all of us have just returned from a triumphant 6-day layoff. And it's great to be back. Before we went on the air tonight, we asked the studio audience what their pet gripe was, and we were amazed to find their complaints were virtually unanimous. Now let's meet a couple of people from the audience. Can I have your name here, sir?
Yeah, my name is George Hannigan.
Uh-huh. What do you do for a living, Mr. Hannigan?
I'm a truck driver. And that's why I said I'd love to get my hands on the guy who designed freeways.
Good. All right. Mr. Hannigan, fine. Now we have a lady driver here. May we have your name?
Yeah, Mrs. Edwin Hurst.
Hurst? Any relation to Randolph?
You mean the reindeer?
No, never mind. Now, what was your grouse again?
Oh, I hate freeways.
Splendid. Now, we also have two other people from the audience to make up our little discussion panel. And now the surprise. I'd like you all to meet Mr. Henry Cloverleaf, the inventor of the American freeway system. Mr. Cloverleaf! Here, wait a minute. What are you doing there? Don't hit him in the ribs like that. Don't. Give that man. Hold it. Panel. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. What in the world? Panel, look what you've done. You've rendered our guest, Mr. Cloverleaf, unconscious. What a terrible thing. Fighting inside the studio.
Okay, we'll take him outside.
That's better. Market research shows that the do-it-yourself craze is fading a bit because, well, people are afraid they really can't do it themselves as advertised. To put these skeptics straight, June Foray and I will assemble before your very ears the Freberg Build-It-Yourself knock-down grand piano. Now, to show you how quickly and simply it can be done, our producer is going to time us. Are you ready in there? Okay. You ready, June?
Oh, sure, Stan, I'm ready. Ready to show our listeners how truly super simple the piano can be assembled.
Just answer yes or no, please.
Yeah.
Now, you read the instructions, and I'll put this little beauty together.
Okay.
All right?
All right. First, you take the parts out of the box.
All right, that makes sense. Okie doke. Everything's out. Now what?
Now you fasten legs A to body B.
All righty. Here we go. All right. All right. Okay, that's three of them. Legs A are on body B. What's next?
Next, you take the long strip of ivory-covered wood C and saw it into 88 little hunks.
Check. '86, '87, '88. Okie doke.
Now, you place key C in trough D in front of body B.
All right. Okay, what's next?
Unwrap package G containing black keys F.
All righty. Black keys F.
Place black keys F between white keys C.
There we are.
Oh, don't they look pretty? Black and white. Yes, ladies, you'll say, such a chic two-tone effect.
Wait a minute. Never mind, let's move right along now. How do I know if the black keys are in the right place?
It says here you'll find out when you start to play.
Yeah. What's the next move?
Unwind roll of piano wire G and string inside body B, starting at treble and preceding the bass.
All right. Wire down here. String her up here. They're all strung up here. There we go.
Yeah. Now you tighten piano wire G.
Okay. Whoops. What did it say I should do when the wire busts?
Yeah. When wire G busts, tie a knot in it and proceed as previously instructed.
Okay, dog, it's all tied up there. There we go.
Okay.
What's next?
Next, you take top H and fasten the body B.
Okay.
Next, raise top H, fasten stick I to side of body B.
Okay, stick I is in place.
Next, raise top H and rest it on stick I.
All right. Ow!
Caution. Be sure top H does not slip off stick I while hand J is underneath.
Gee, that hurt. Yeah. Well, that's it, I guess.
No, Stan. There's one more step. Assemble piano bench K.
Okay, just a second. Okay.
And place in front of assemble parts A, B, C, D, E, G, E, F, H, and I. Now, your Freberg grand piano is ready to be played by hands J.
Okay. There we go. What was our assembling time, please? Oh, that's too bad. Our producer dropped his hourglass.
Oh, come on, play it, Stan.
All right. Yes, friends, don't say you can't afford a grand piano until you've tried a Freberg Build-It-Yourself grand piano, which only sells for $29.95. Tonight only this special studio demonstrator model, only $9.98. As is, if you call the station right now.
Say, you didn't tell them about the other models, Stan.
Oh, yes, so I didn't. We have 3 models, the baby grand, the adult grand, and the teenager grand, which comes with ducktail keys, motorcycle boots on the legs, and an eagle on the lid. Call now, as our supply is limited.
Gee, Stan, I'm very sorry about what happened.
Why is that, Peggy?
Well, I'd have wanted to sing, but I can't very well with the piano all over the
floor. No, that's true.
Well, would you do me a favor?
Oh, certainly.
Well, will you put it back together?
Oh, surely. Just a minute. There we are.
Thank you, Stan.
That's quite all right. That was nothing.
September 15th, 1957, the Stan-Freberg Show on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medishare right now. Medishare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medishare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medishare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of the Stan-Freberg Show, September 15th, 1957.
From time to time on this program, we should like to present literary giants of our time. The next voice you will hear will be that of Stan Freberg, coming to you from the office of Albert T. Wong.
Good evening, Mr. Wong.
Good evening, Stan.
Oh, Mr. Wong, how's it feel to be our first literary giant?
Well, Stan, I'm not exactly a giant. I mean, I'm only 5'2".
No. See, giant is just an expression. I mean, you're a big man in the field of literature.
Oh, yes.
I didn't mean that.
Oh, yes.
You were literally actually a giant.
Yes.
Just
oh, yes.
You know.
Oh, yes.
Paraphrasing, as it were. Let's get down to cases here and let the folks in on what sort of thing. You understand, all right?
Oh, yes.
Good.
Oh, yes.
And let the folks in on what sort of things you write.
Well, Stan, I write the sayings on the little slips of paper you find inside Chinese fortune cookies.
And allow me to add that they have been some of the most memorable fortune cookies I've ever read. Just wonderful. Would you rattle off a few of the old favorites there, Albert? May I call you Albert?
Oh, I should be most offended if you did not. Well, you folks may remember this one. I wrote it back in 1938, and the whole country went around saying, pleasant prospects for the future are indicated. And then, thank you. And then I wrote, do not act upon the impulse of the moment.
Oh, right. I remember that so well.
And I'm sure you will all remember this fortune cookie message. It was the first one I ever had published and printed inside a cookie. A letter of great importance may reach you any day now.
Oh, boy. Wonderful memories. I remember breaking open a cookie and reading that several years ago, Albert.
And did a letter of great importance reach you?
Yes, I was drafted. I suppose there are other fortune cookie writers?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But in all modesty, I would like to quote a critic who writes for the Fuyang Tribune. He said, Wong is the Oscar Hammerstein III of fortune cookies. People all over America walk out of Chinese restaurants humming his messages.
They do indeed. Have you a few words of encouragement, perhaps for young, aspiring fortune cookie writers who may be listening tonight?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Each year, each year, countless young hopefuls break their hearts trying to crack the inner golden circle of message writers. You've heard the saying, there's a broken heart for every fortune cookie writer on Maja Long Street.
No, I don't believe I've heard that one.
I wrote it.
And your word of encouragement is?
Keep writing. If you have to start out writing fortunes for weight machines, do it. I got my start writing, you weigh 198 pounds and will travel. As I like to say, oy vey. So, my advice, stay with it. Don't be discouraged. Every cloud has a silver lining. Say, Stan, that would make a good message.
Make a good message, yes.
I just made that up, you know.
Reel out your guest.
Let me just jot that down here.
Okay, you want to use my back as a desk there?
Thank you.
All right. And while you're jotting it down there, Albert, I'll just stroll out into your factory here. Mr. Wong, you coming with me?
Oh, yes.
Could you explain how the message is put inside the cookie?
Oh, certainly, Stan. After I write the message and it is printed, these girls here lay it on the unfinished cookie, which at this point is flat, like a little pancake. And then almost instantly, the machine folds the cookie and bends it around the message.
Wonderful. I noticed you use girls with long, thin fingers.
Oh, yes. Reason. They have to snatch their hand out of the way fast.
Good reason. Well, what if they don't?
We have to call in a locksmith to get the cookie off their finger. We never lost the cookie yet.
How about fingers?
Well, quite a few
of those.
Quite a few of those,
yeah. Just one of the hazards of the sport, I guess. Well, before we sign off, there's something I've been dying to ask you, Mr.
Yes?
Wong.
Oh, yes.
You know the joke that's been making the rounds?
Oh, yes. You are referring to the joke where somebody supposedly opens a fortune cookie and found the message, help me, I am being held captive in a Chinese fortune cookie factory.
That's the one, yes.
Well, to tell the truth, Stan, I am just a little bit sick of that one. Everywhere I go, people pull it on me. I wish I had $1 for every time I've heard that.
You're a wealthy man, yeah. Well, it's only a joke.
Yes, a poor joke. A poor joke at that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, say, what is that sort of pounding noise there?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just someone working on the building, Stan. I don't know. It's a workman or something. Let's get back to my office, Stan, please.
All right. And thanks so much for being with us, Mr. Albert T. Wong.
Help. Help.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard our vocal group, the Judd Conlon Rhythmaires, singing behind Peggy and behind me on many of my Capitol records, and tonight we think it'd be nice if they sang out front. All right? Well, let's see, there's, 6 of them all together, and by name they are...
Judd Conlon, Clark Yoakum, Chuck Schroeder, Mac McLean,
Lulie Jean Norman, and Gloria Wood.
Florence Nightingale.
Enrico Caruso.
Hold it.
Lanny Ross.
All right, you guys. Everybody after Gloria Wood didn't count, folks. Here's the Judd Conlon Rhythmaires singing Just One of Those Things.
Just one of those things. Just one of those crazy flings. One of those bells that now and then rings. Just one of those things. It was just one of those nights. Just one of those fabulous flights.
A trip to the moon on gossamer wings.
Just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town,
we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down.
So goodbye, dear and amen. Here's hoping we meet now and then. It was great fun, but it was just one of those things.
Just one of those nights. Just one of those fabulous flights.
A trip to the moon on gossamer wings. Just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we meet now and then. Great fun, but it was just one.
It's been swell.
Farewell.
What a song.
So long.
Lots of fun.
We're done.
Just one of those things.
Now for the third lecture by Dr. Herman Horn on the subject of hi-fi, which, as you know, is the reproduction of music and sound in high fidelity with a full range of frequencies.
They know that, you lunkhead.
Yes. Last time we presented the sound of Benny Goodman playing Danny Boy 20 feet underwater in a kelp bed, a life-size latex rubber Liberace being inflated, and many other fascinating things.
It was a wonderful sound, too. It was a wonderful.
The close of the lecture was unfortunate. The good professor's assistant, Strudelmeyer, scratched the needle right across the hi-fi record.
Unforgivable.
Of course, under the hi-fi oath, he was supposed to be boiled in turntable lubricating oil at once.
But I'm a good-natured fellow, so I told him I would wait until after tonight's lecture. Now, the first thing...
Pardon me, Doctor.
Who are you?
I'm your announcer.
Don't be ashamed of it. I once played tuba for Horace Height.
Well, I've been kicking around the idea of a little custom installation myself.
There is no such thing as a little custom installation.
Well, now, I only meant that I...
Quiet! Quiet! Here's the equipment you must have. Must. 4 2,000-watt amplifiers and 10 separate preamps. A 21-joule turntable, a diamond stylus, a pearl Mesta, and a cotton Pickering arm.
What about the speaker?
The whole house becomes a speaker. You move into the garage.
I think we better forget it.
The entire house becomes a giant speaker. Now it's settled.
No,
It's settled.
No, it's not so. Besides, my wife doesn't like loud music.
Yeah, loud.
Yes.
I would expect that from a wife. We've got a special demonstration for people like your wife to prove that hi-fi can be soft. Soft and misty as the teardrops in a mother's eyes, as toward the chair her wayward son is slowly led. Nick Kenny, Mirror Syndicate, 1945. The old ones are the best. Yes. Okay, Strudelmeyer, roll in the crate, gently. Gently now. There we are.
Oh, pardon me. Is that fur on those wheels?
Naturally, there's nothing softer than a mink wheel. Now, if there is, I'd like to hear about it. All right, unpack, Strudelmeyer. Inside the crate, in a nest of flogged peach fuzz and eiderrup, that's twice as soft as eiderdown.
September 15th, 1957, The Stan Freberg Show. You'll hear the conclusion next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But first...
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-772-6113. 800-772-6113. 800-772-6113. That's 800-772-6113.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Stan Freberg Show, September 15th, 1957.
Rests a 2,000-year-old Ming Dynasty porcelain temple bell. Traditionally, it is struck with the soft, fuzzy cottontail of a Ming rabbit. Only hi-fi could ring the delicate highs of this sound. Okay, Strood, let's hear it. No! Meathead. I said just with the tail, not with the whole lousy rabbit. Shape up, Strudelmeyer. You could be replaced by Quasimodo. This reminds me, before we come to the end of my lecture, I'll show you the difference between highs and lows. You have just heard the high vibrations when our friend here smashed the temple bell, for which he will be fed to the octopi at Marineland right after the show. Now for the low vibrations. Listen as Clumsy here plays a mating call on the Canadian moose horn. Go, Scrooge. Excellent. He has good jazz ideas.
Yes, but his lip isn't too good.
He sat in with Chet Baker the other night, and I think that, what is that? Strudelmeyer, is that your moose? Well, get him out of here and stop blushing.
Why don't we just forget about me buying a hi-fi?
Be quiet. Be quiet. As you and your wife sit of an evening, shivering in the garage, listening to your house, These are the wonderful types of sounds you can play on your hi-fi. The sound, for example, of James Cagney removing his makeup. we had time, he could remove the other 999 faces.
But what about music? Can I listen to music on my system?
What for? It's only good for checking to see if you have wow and flutter, or if you can still hear the turntable rumble.
Oh, I see.
That's all it's for, and nothing else.
Yes, I understand.
Only purpose. However, if you persist, let me show you how loud music can be on a real hi-fi system.
Well, that won't be necessary.
Yes, it will. First, I play an average record, played through a cheap $5,000 home hi-fi system. See if you don't see how thin the orchestra sounds. Terrible. Now the very same record played through my own stereophonic, orthopedic, cinema, guadarama, phonic sound system. Okay, Studemeyer?
Doctor, I really don't think the building can withstand the vibrations.
Stand back, Brady cat. Now, if you aren't chicken, turn up your volume knobs all the way! Tonight only, this special demonstrator studio, only $9.98. Well, that concludes a series of 3 lectures on hi-fi by Dr. Herman Horn. It also concludes Dr. Horn, to say nothing of Strudelmeyer. However, we shall carry on alone. Look to us in the future to bring you such goodies as the collapse of the Los Angeles Shrine Auditorium in hi-fi. That'll be a good one. A Child's Garden of Voodoo. And a stereophonic binaural recording of the fun-filled Charge of the Light Brigade with the original cast. As you may remember, we promised to bring you my recording of Shaboom tonight, but the mail has been rather heavy, begging us to please not do rock and roll, and their point is well taken. I mean, they want a lot of gibberish, you know. And before we sign off, are there any questions you folks in the audience have about Elvis? Yes, all right, that gentleman right there.
How come I can never understand what he's saying?
Good question. Because on his particular RCA Victor records, the dog has got his head caught in the speaker. Now, this lady right here in the yellow dress.
Yes. Well, how come Elvis always wiggles around like that when he sings?
Because as a boy, he had a loose bicycle seat. And time for one more question.
When is this program over?
Right now. Until next week, this is Stan Freberg saying thanks for listening. God bless you and good night.
The Stan Freberg Show is produced in Hollywood by Pete Barnum and is written by Stan Freberg, Pete Barnum, and Jaws Butler. Featuring the music of Billy May, Judd Conlon for the Mayors, and the songs of Peggy Taylor, with Jaws Butler, Peter Lees, and June Foray. Bud Sewell speaking.
September 15th, 1957, Stan Freberg on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
800-477-4612. 800-477-4612. 800-477-4612. That's 800-477-4612. Paid for by Want to Sell.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the first anniversary for Claudia and David. Yeah, Claudia, September 15th, 1948.
And now, Claudia. For I'm a jolly good fellow, for they are jolly good fellows.
For we are jolly good fellows,
that nobody can deny.
Deny. Wyatt, for heaven's sake, we'll wake up the whole neighborhood.
There isn't any neighborhood around. We are alone in the middle of the night.
In the middle of our driveway.
In the middle of Connecticut.
For it's a jolly good fellow,
Wyatt, for
those
heaven's sakes, you will wake up the neighbors.
He moved to the country, Mrs. Brown, so he'd have no neighbors.
We're all alone in the middle of the night.
In the middle of our driveway.
In the middle of Connecticut. I think we ought to maybe be quieter.
Yes, we should.
Sound travels far in the dead of night, and there are some people who live a half a mile or so away.
Well, let's go in the house. We can be as noisy as we want.
And wake up Fritz and Bertha and the baby and the cat and the dog and the rooster? I should say not. If we are going to be noisy, we will be noisy quietly.
Agreed.
Out here in the driveway.
Agreed.
Agreed.
For Mama's a jolly good fellow, for Claudia's a jolly good fellow,
for David's a jolly good fellow that nobody can deny.
Pretty good.
What time is it, jolly good fellow?
11:30.
Already? Oh, what a wonderful first anniversary we celebrated. I'm stuffed with lobster up to my ears.
They were wonderful lobsters.
Not bad, not bad.
Oh, you're so blasé. I hate to go in the house. It's such a beautiful, coolish night.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm off to bed. My lobsters are getting sleepy.
They tell me lobsters do need a lot of sleep.
David, do you have the key?
Well, certainly I have the key. I think Mama's right. It's time for all good people to go to bed.
But I don't want to be good people. I want to keep on celebrating my first wedding anniversary all night.
We'll celebrate it while you're asleep.
And just tonight, I'll bet you I won't dream. Life's like that.
Give me the key, David. Look, just because I'm going to bed, there's no reason for you to.
If it's good enough for you, Mama, it's good enough for us. Shh. Listen to the crickets.
Listen to the crickets. That's no cricket.
Owl?
He's coming to wish us a happy first wedding anniversary. Congratulations, David Norton.
Congratulations, Claudia Norton.
Congratulations, Mrs. Brown.
I thank you. I thank you.
Nothing at all.
It's a beautiful night. So many stars.
I'm glad we moved to the country. There are many more stars in the country than there are in New York.
And two of the brightest ones are in your eyes.
You're so poetical.
It's the lobster in me that's talking.
Are we going to stand on this doorstep all night?
It's a lovely doorstep, too.
Everything is lovely.
Bluff has come to join
Yeah, Bluffo. Come on, old boy. Come on, boy.
Oh, such excitement.
We should have taken him with us. It wasn't nice to leave him home when we were out celebrating.
Oh, Bluffo, you wouldn't want him to come, would you? You wanted to stay here and protect our homestead.
That big sissy, he couldn't protect a mouse.
Shut up, Bluff. Be
Quiet,
quiet.
boy. Quiet. Down.
Oh, now he's gone and awakened all his friends. There'll be no peace in Eastbrook tonight.
There should be no peace in Eastbrook tonight. After all, it's our first wedding anniversary, isn't it?
Thank goodness it only comes once a year.
It only comes once a year to the outside world. But to me, it comes 365 times, and on leap year 366.
Well, what do you know, Mama? Your daughter knows how many days there are in a year. The little show-off.
Good night.
Good
You
night.
don't really mean it, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
I don't know why you're fussing with that key, Mrs. Brown. The door is not locked.
Why didn't you tell me? I've been ruining my eyes looking for that keyhole.
Well, they don't lock doors in Connecticut.
Now, I shall disappear into the house.
You're not supposed to disappear until midnight.
Are you hinting that I'm an old witch on a broom?
Isn't she clever?
No. You are the fairy godmother on a moonbeam.
Oh, I can't take any more of this. You're turning my head. Good night, children.
Good night, Mama.
Good night, Mama.
Sweet dreams.
And I do want to say this. It's been a lovely year.
Hasn't it?
You both made me very happy. I sleep very easily now.
It's the country air that does it.
It's more than that. You know it. Anyway, here's to another year and lots more country air. Good night.
So long, Mrs. Brown.
I hope I'll be like Mama someday.
Well, every chicken becomes an egg, or every egg becomes a chicken, as
Every
the saying
egg
goes.
does not become a chicken. You told me so.
Now, don't split yolk.
Oh, no more, no more. Oh, I hate calling it a night. Let's take a little walk.
You feel like walking at the strangest time.
What's strange about the middle of the night? Anyway, whoever said the night was lonesome was just crazy.
No, I don't think he was so crazy. There are nights that never end and nights that can be terrifying when you're alone.
Don't you ever feel alone?
No, not anymore.
You used to?
I certainly did.
After your father died, the nights must have been terrifying.
And before I met you.
I missed something, didn't I?
I'm glad you missed it.
I wonder. I've been so lucky. Everything was always so perfect. Mama and I, and before I'd even outgrown being a daughter, there was you. I was a wife.
Then, not such a bad wife at that.
David, I don't know how you stood me the first few months we were married.
I had to hang on my teeth some of the time, I'll admit.
I just didn't know anything about anything. Oh, what a dope I was.
Now, look, you don't have to convince me of that.
I wasn't good for anything. I was an ignoramus around the house.
Ignoramus, that's you.
Remember the things I used to try and cook?
I certainly do.
The pies I burned,
Ooh.
the eggs I hard-boiled, and the salmon mousse we ate for days and days and days and days and days.
Oh, don't talk about salmon. My lobster resents it.
Listen, you remember the time I scraped the paint off the window with your razor blade?
Mm-hmm, I certainly do. I tried to scrape the beard off my face with the same blade.
Oh, I'll never forget.
You know, I ought to whale the daylights out of you, come to think of it.
You did.
A good whaling?
A swell whaling.
Fun.
Shakespeare, hello, little kitty, 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 kitty.
Isn't anybody asleep tonight?
Of course not. It's our anniversary.
Well, let's see. Only 20 more minutes of it.
David, let's sit down here on the side of our own hill. We can see out all over the country. Look, there's a light in Mama's room.
I'll bet you 20 cents she went in and kissed Bobby goodnight.
That is not a fair bet. Of course she did. Look at how the light in her room shows up the green in all the trees. How long the shadows are.
Mm-hmm. It's the only light for miles.
Still. Poor Shakespeare. Maybe we ought to get him married, too.
Maybe he is. Who knows? Cats tell no tales.
But Shakespeare has such a beautiful one. I kill myself.
You certainly do.
Remember the night you gave him to me?
Most positively do.
Oh.
That was one of the most brilliant maneuvers of my career as a husband, if I do say so myself.
Brilliant?
Brilliant.
Poor Shakespeare. You were nothing but a little red herring for David's cold. I wonder if Shakespeare remembers his brother.
Well, I certainly do.
So funny about life.
What is?
It's always taking hostages. For everything you receive, you have to give something back. That holds even for cats. We have Shakespeare, but to keep him, we lost his brother.
You've learned a big lesson.
Well, I have an awful lot of big lessons left to learn. Now we have a son. I wonder what he'll cost us.
He cost you a lot already.
I don't mean money.
No, I don't mean money either.
What hostage for Bobby, David?
A part of us.
I don't mind being less free than I was. It's a very small price.
So far, we're lucky. That's the only price to date, but there are others.
Peace of mind, I suppose. I guess behind the great excitement of having a baby is the realization that in the having there can also be loss.
That makes Bobby twice as valuable.
Golly. I certainly started out a year ago not knowing from beans.
Well, you had a big dose of beans, huh?
I've gotten so I even like beans. Think, just a year ago, we were married. Just you and I. Only two people in the whole world. No responsibilities, no problems, no nothing.
Don't tell me, young woman, you didn't feel that you had a great adjustment to make.
Maybe I was maladjusted before I got married, because I don't feel as if I had to get adjusted all over again. As a matter of fact, I feel adjusted now for the first time, I think.
In 5 years, you'll look back on tonight and wonder what you were so conceited about.
That's exactly what I'm doing now. I mean, about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite a year, hasn't it? Look at us. sitting on the side of our hill on our very own farm. This doesn't seem possible. With our own son, our very own cat, our very own dog and rooster.
But we've certainly multiplied.
Not to mention Fritz and Bertha.
Mm.
Oh, Mama put her light out. How much darker it is now.
It always is.
You know, David, it used to be when I read a book, I always had to peek at the last chapter first.
Not anymore?
Now, I'd rather wait, see.
Well, don't grow up too fast, or I won't catch up with you. Say, it's almost midnight. I better give you your anniversary present,
Not another one.
I haven't given you any one so far.
Much. What is it?
Ooh, now you're greedy.
Well, if you're going to give it to me, come on, give it to me. Don't make me die waiting.
Close your eyes and open your hands.
Another hostage. Can't I keep my eyes open, too?
You may not.
Oh, all right. I'm closed.
All right.
Hurry up.
Now open your eyes.
I don't have to. I know what it is. I can feel it in the palm of my hand.
Well, if you're so smart,
Before I open my eyes, slip it on my finger, David.
hold out your hand. There you are.
It's beautiful. Engagement ring.
And before you say I shouldn't have spent the money, the stone was my mother's.
I'm glad. I hope wherever she is, she knows.
Better late than never,
A day earlier would have been too soon. I don't think people really know what getting engaged to be married means. For a long time after.
It's very becoming to you.
My engagement ring is beautiful. Look at the way it glitters, even in the dark.
I didn't mean your ring.
What did you mean, David?
Very becoming to you. Being married is.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
I love you, Mrs. Norton.
And I love you, Mr. Norton. You're the greatest of pleasure, the greatest of love, always.
Have Claudia and David come into the house yet?
Yes, just a few minutes ago.
Strange. I didn't hear them.
Well, perhaps they were more subdued than usual.
Well, they must have been. Still, they were very gay when I left them.
Our mood changes.
An anniversary isn't all gaiety. It's a reckoning, too. Well, as long as they're safely tucked in, I guess I'll go back to bed.
Sweet dreams, Mrs. B.
I'll have them. Life is sweet, so dreams are.
Claudia agrees to that tonight, but ask her tomorrow night, Mrs. Brown, and she'll tell you it's a dog's life.
A what?
It's a dog's life. And there are moments when she'll wish she could go to the dogs.
Well, that sounds fascinating. I'll be around tomorrow to hear the barks. Goodbye, Joe.
Goodbye. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir.
September 15th, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single episode. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. You can stream the shows. You can learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. You can buy me a copy. You can find our social media links. By the way, buying me a copy does not buy me copy. We use the revenues from the Buy Me a Copy links to acquire additional classic radio collections, audio upgrades, and additional shows. So you can do that. Buy me a copy at classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.